Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another book review on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum, and the book we're taking a look at today is Trial and Experiment by Mathieu Willemsen. Mr. Willemsen is the curator of the Dutch Army Museum, Dutch National Military Museum, I think it's actually called. And what he has put together here, was published several years ago. This is basically the catalog of the Dutch School of Musketry. This was a school that was formed when the Dutch Army first got rifled firearms, and it was a school to teach marksmanship. You know, marksmanship was kind of a new thing with rifled guns. Smoothbores, especially in military service, marksmanship wasn't really a major thing. It was more about discipline and tactics. So the school was founded in 1855, and it lasted until 1933. And as one might expect of a school of musketry, it put together a collection of firearms. And in this case, the Netherlands didn't have any, during this period, didn't have any really substantial arms development industry of its own. And so instead, the Dutch would buy firearms from other companies in other countries. So during this period, and in this time frame, 1855 to 1933, we have the development of repeating rifles. So guns would go from black powder to smokeless powder, but they were also going from single shot to manual repeating arms. This, in theory, they sort of started to go into semi-autos, and this has a little bit of semi-auto stuff in it, but really very little. The Dutch School of Musketry, when it would get these guns for trial, when it was finished testing them out, it would keep them. And so they ended up with a collection of 218 firearms, which range from some very mundane guns, very ordinary, standard pattern guns that other countries adopted. And then it has a lot of really oddball guns that you will never see anywhere else. Probably the biggest single group of unusual guns in here are trials versions of the Beaumont. So taking the Beaumont action and adding any conceivable type of magazine to it. There are a whole bunch of weird and different magazine-fed variations on the Beaumont in here. The way this is set up, there's a little bit of a history of the Dutch School of Musketry, some general firearms history, and then the primary bulk of the book is looking at all 218 of the guns that were in this collection. There's between 2 and 4 pages on each gun, a bunch of pictures, and what is kind of a fairly brief description and background on each of the guns. So for the guns that are standard, when you go to the 1903 Springfield page in this, you're really not going to learn anything that you can't find in many, many other places about the 1903 Springfield. But to me, that's not the rationale for getting this book. The reason you get this book is because of the weird stuff in it. Because where else are you going to find, a Beaumont Lee rifle or 3 or 4 different versions of Beaumont Mauser rifles? And the descriptions that you'll find in here are basically the most information you'll be able to find on these guns anywhere. So it's a very specialized book. It's a relatively expensive book. This is 99 euros in Europe. You can purchase it directly through the publisher, Verlag Militaria. And it is printed in both English and in German. So 2 different versions. Make sure you get the language that you want. Here in the US, you're probably best off ordering it through Gun and Sword Collector. They have it for $145 shipped. If you look for it on Amazon, you will find it, but it will be substantially more expensive. It's like 180 bucks on Amazon. Probably, I suspect, because Amazon tacks on a bunch of extra expenses for someone who's selling books on Amazon, so they raise the price so that they don't actually lose money on it. At any rate, it's a very specialized book. I don't expect it's going to appeal to the bulk of the audience here, but for those of you who are really interested in experimental firearms, and in particular this period of conversion from single shot to repeating guns, this is a wealth of things that you would have otherwise never known existed. So if you're interested in it, I have links to Verlag and Gun and Sword Collector both down in the description. Check them out there. And of course, we also have a video up, an interview that I did with Mathieu Willemsen about various aspects of being a firearms museum curator. So definitely check that out if you're interested. Thanks for watching.